Hey YouTube, it's Jiggliepoof here. So I apologise in advance for looking all sweaty, but I just came back from a run. So I thought it was a great time to give you guys some tips on how to start running. Because about a year or so ago, I couldn't even run like 500 meters, and I know how difficult it is to start running. And now that I'm more of a regular runner, I thought I'd share some tips on how to get started, how to improve quicker, and just how to have fun while running. So yeah, let's get started. One is to start slow, literally. So when I first started running, I think the biggest mistake I made was really trying to pump it and trying to run as fast as I possibly could. Even though I was trying to run like 5Ks or 10Ks, I was just like, I would run a little bit and I'd push myself, and then I'd get to a point and I'd say, okay, I'll run until that pillar and then I'll walk again. But you really want to aim for not walking and just finding a pace that you can run at the entire time and just not give up and start again all over again, because it really tires you out more than just finding your pace and sticking to it. So my biggest mistake at the beginning was just running too fast. So as soon as I started to slow it down, and like even if like people are walking next to you and going faster than you, at least you are running and you actually are getting a start on like running a full 10 kilometers or 5 kilometers or however long you want to run. But it's just a good start to find your pace and stick to that. It's also good to start at the beginning. You can start with a really slow pace, especially if you're running quite a long distance. Start with a really slow pace, and then if you feel better as you're going along, you can speed things up a bit. But never start with a really fast pace and then have to slow it down. It's a lot better to start with a slow pace and pick it up near the end. So tip number 2 is to make sure you get your stride right and to make sure that you're landing on the correct part of your foot. And this is really important because it can prevent a lot of injuries during your running career, and especially if you get it right at the beginning, and then you don't have to retrain yourself to run correctly later on. So the first part of your stride that you need to learn to get right is to land on the ball, the front part of your foot, not like on your toes, but more like the ball of your foot. And this is because it'll have a lot less like impact on your knees and your ankles, and you're a lot less susceptible to injuries. So I think the biggest thing that a lot of people do wrong with their stride at the beginning is they land on their heel, and when you land on your heel, you're landing with this and your impact is going straight up your leg and landing straight onto your knee, and all of that impact is just going straight onto your knee. So it's better to have like a loose stride where you land here, so that it sort of creates that like spring effect where all the impact isn't just shooting straight up your leg, and it can cause a lot of injuries like that, so just be careful. So tip number 3 is to get either a watch or something to track your distance, speed and your heart rate. This can be really beneficial because you'll never know if you're improving and how far you've gone unless you're actually tracking it. Especially if you start running races, you want to know that like if you're already 5 kilometers in and you've been running for 20 minutes, then you'll know that you should be finishing around 40. And you'll know if you're not keeping up to a normal pace if you're watching on your watch and you're seeing how far you are according to your time. And it really helps you get competitive with yourself and get competitive with others, and you can really learn how to push yourself and when you're doing well and when you're not doing as well as you should. Having a watch on while running is also really important if you want to track your heart rate while you're running. I don't recommend doing this at the beginning because it won't really add anything to your workout and you won't really know what it means. But as you start getting more into it, you can see where your optimal performance lies according to your heart rate, and you'll see if you can push yourself a bit more or if you need to lay back on yourself a little bit more, and it helps you sort of gauge how you're feeling during your run. But at the beginning, I would suggest just getting a watch that just tracks your distance and time so that you know how well you're doing and you can compete with yourself. Tip number 4 is to distract yourself. So a big thing that I was doing wrong when I first started running was that while I was running, I was just thinking the whole time, I hate running, this is the worst, and I just like would beat myself up in my head and just say like how much I hated every moment of it, and obviously that's not going to be fun and you're not going to enjoy that. So either treat your runs like me time, where you just have that time to sort of like meditate or go through your thoughts throughout the day, and just treat it as time like away from the world with yourself, where you can really just like gauge with what's going on with yourself, go over your thoughts and just like have some alone time. That's how I treat my runs, but I know a lot of people don't like that kind of thing. So if you find it hard to distract yourself and you're still going in your head like I hate running, then rather listen to music while you run. It'll really help to distract you from the fact that you're running, and it'll help you, especially when you're not fit, to enjoy running a little bit more and to sort of get into it a bit more instead of just hating on yourself the entire time. Tip number 5 is to get some good running shoes. So I wouldn't recommend this if you're just starting to run and you like really like beginner, but as you start getting more into running, it is really beneficial to get some good running shoes. It'll just help with your spring a bit and with your like stride, and it just helps with your like to support your foot, and it really helped me. I'm not sure about everyone else, but good running shoes really helped me. It gave me like a spring in my step and made me feel like I was hurting my feet less, which helped me a lot when I was first starting to learn how to run. Tip number 6, and possibly the most important thing in this video, is to eat properly. When I was really battling to learn how to run, my diet was terrible. I was eating a lot of sugar and I was a little bit overweight, and it made running really difficult because I wasn't getting the proper nutrition I needed. So every time I ran, it was just so hard because I was just not eating correctly, and I made it 100 times worse for myself. So make sure that you're getting obviously enough fruits and veggies, you're getting a variety in your diet, and you're eating enough carbs, because carbs really will power you through your workouts. Well, that's my personal opinion. And another thing with eating is to make sure you don't eat a massive meal before you run, because it really will bloat you and make you feel more tired. So I always like to eat like a very light meal, or even like some fruit just before I go running, but not just before, about 45 minutes before, and that'll give you some power, but it won't like weigh you down when you're trying to run. So make sure you eat properly. So tip number 7 is to join like a running community. Now this doesn't have to be like a running club or something, but I really feel like running races, and it's because I never believed that you could get like a runner's high. I just thought that was like something that runners said to make it seem like running was cool when it wasn't. But when I first started running races, I really understood what it meant to get a runner's high, and it's because when you get to the finish of that race and everyone's cheering you on, and like the person announces on the speaker that people are coming in, you just get this like feeling of accomplishment, and I think that's what really got me addicted to running, and I think that's really helped me to get more into it. Another great thing is in South Africa we have park runs, and obviously those are like races, but not really. It's like everyone gets together on a Saturday and you run a 5k race, which is tracked and measured, and you can get your time and everything, and it really just is more encouraging when you're running with other people and you have like a goal that you're trying to achieve. So I would definitely either recommend doing park runs, races, or joining a running club or something. It really helps encourage you to get better and to stick to what you're doing, because you actually have something to look forward to like push you to do it. Tip number 8 is to switch up your route a bit. Don't run the same route every single day or every week, because it'll start to get a little bit monotonous and boring. So I like to run in nature, and I would definitely recommend running in nature because it's just more exciting, it's like less boring, and you actually there's a lot of benefits to being out in nature for your brain and just for your general happiness. So I would definitely recommend trying some trail runs, trying different routes, but definitely especially if you're a woman, make sure that you're safe and that you either run with someone or you run in like safe areas, because it can be quite dangerous, especially in South Africa. But I definitely recommend changing up your routes every now and then. So tip number 9 is to get a running buddy. And this is quite an obvious one, but it really has helped me especially. I probably would not wake up at 4 in the morning for a race if I didn't know that I had friends waiting for me at the race, and I would be disappointing them if I didn't come. So I think running with the running buddy is like a way to motivate both of you. You encourage each other, and it's another way, like especially if you're running quite slowly and you're getting up your pace still, you can run next to someone and chat to them, and it becomes like a bonding session, and it's less about like, oh, I have to run today, but it's more about like I get to see my running buddy and spend some time with them, and I think that's really motivating and it's really helpful especially for beginners. So tip number 10, and this is also a really important one, is to go easy on yourself. You're not going to be the world's best runner in a month, and you're not going to be winning races in a few months either. So, well, unless you're really good. But go easy on yourself and celebrate the little wins when you do have them. So even if your little win is that you woke up to run in the first place, just go easy on yourself and encourage yourself, because you're not going to get better if you're not encouraging yourself to do better. So that's it. Those are my top 10 tips on how to start running. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have any other tips or if I left any out, and if you're any runners in South Africa, let me know which races are your favorite. Do you prefer trail running or road running? And let me know if you like this video and if you want me to make more. Otherwise, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!